This is gonna be a long video.
Where you from? What's your background? You American? Dirty black American?
Wait, what?
Huh?
Back in 2017, Issa Rae was on the red carpet of the Emmys when she said,
I'm rooting for everybody black.
it was a powerful, proud, unapologetically black moment. We've always known that as black people, we all we got. From slavery to Jim Crow to the civil rights movement to now. Black solidarity has literally been our survival tool. So naturally, for a lot of us, that mindset extended to all black people across the world. We assumed that we all had the same sense of unity. That whether somebody was Caribbean, African, Afro, Latino, we were all connected through blackness.
If our worldview was to uplift each other.
Whose
Black
worldview?
Black people.
Which black people?
All black people.
No, there is no such thing. You can't go to Asia and say all Asian people.
But why not?
I am telling you, this is the mistake.
And that definitely is true for some people, but not the majority. Social media really exposed how a lot of people that look like us, even sound like us, don't identify with us at all.
And black American people, can y'all please stop talking about what the white man is doing to hold y'all down? Immigrants come here and have it harder than you as an American, and they still make it happen.
Yeah, girl, that's how they are. The Americans are so lazy and entitled.
And it really revealed how deep the divisions are. In fact, many people outright reject the label of black, instead choosing to identify with their nationality, ethnicity, tribe, hell, even religion.
Who's my people?
Black people. Do you claim black people?
I'm a Christian first.
They get online, they call us lazy, dumb, violent, ignorant, and say we don't have any culture while they are benefiting off of our culture. So while we were here rooting for everybody black, everybody else was rooting for themselves and rooting against us the whole time.
Why you say that?
Because that's what y'all are. Dirty black American.
But I'm Jew, welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
That's correct. I'm Haitian. Why? Where you from? What's your background? You American? Dirty black American?
Wait, what?
Huh? Huh? What?
Wait, what'd you say?
American? Black American? What?
No. Hold on. You said dirty black American.
You heard that? You just asked me what I said.
She's laughing like that's funny. That is crazy that she felt comfortable saying that.
I did.
Why you say that?
Because that's what y'all are. Dirty black American.
She just said that?
I did. A dirty black American. I sure did.
And she's saying it with her full chest.
Because that's what y'all are.
So all Americans is dirty black Americans?
I mean, you know, the ones I've come across.
Huh?
So what is Haitians then? I'm confused.
Dirty black Haitians.
Okay, so keep that energy for everybody. Don't just keep it for us. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
You're
yo.
American.
Yeah, hell yeah. Don't ever say no dirty
from the
black
South?
American shit. Like, what?
You from the
Like,
South?
My family, like, yeah.
This show is a wrap-up crew. I talked about them before when they did the African versus Black American video with Dave Anderson, which I think was a really insightful conversation. Just the audacity that she has to be shitting on black people, black Americans, unprovoked for no reason. Nobody said anything to her. I don't think she thought anybody in that room was actually American to check her or push back on her.
Okay, where?
Why it matter?
No, I'm just asking.
Right.
No, we're not having a
Is
conversation.
the South regardless? Like, I got family in Florida. I got family in Georgia.
I mean, I want to know, like, where.
You know, you trying to be. I know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah, so what was she going to say? I only met Southern black Americans. They're dirty. Don't call us dirty. No black person should be calling any other black person dirty. How does that benefit black people?
I know what you're doing. It's that Caribbean shit. I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
Just chill out on that dirty black American comment. That's all. Like,
I'm sorry. You really took offense to that. I apologize.
anybody would take offense to that.
I'm sorry.
They got more self-control than me because she would have had to politely get up and leave the show.
I apologize. I didn't.
Why you said that though?
Why you? I'm saying, why would you even fix your lips and say that? Though I'm confused.
Because that's just my experience. Like, it's my experience. So I'm going to speak on it. But I apologize.
It's your experience.
Yeah, so I apologize
What experience you had?
if I offended you.
You accept the apology?
No,
Yeah,
he's
how?
not.
Like, that's super disrespectful. Like, yeah.
She did say it's dirty black Haitians too though.
Nah, I would never fix my lips to say, and I know some dirty black Haitians. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would never fix my lips to
Okay.
say dirty black. I wouldn't generalize. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, nah, it is, bro. That's
Right.
that Caribbean.
It's
shit.
not.
And this is why we having the Diaspora Awards, because the dumb shit words. Remember that other Haitian, bro? Remember the other Haitian shorty? We don't got no culture. Like, it must be a Haitian thing for sure. Like, y'all, I don't know what
I
the
mean, it's
issue
not a
is.
Haitian thing, and I won't say that y'all don't have culture. Like, y'all have the things that y'all do.
We are the culture. Like,
Okay.
She's sitting there looking from her hair all the way down to the cuticles on her toes like a Black American woman. Hair like a Black American woman. Accent, dialect like a Black American woman. Now trying to question or downplay what culture we have. This is a problem when immigrants come to this country and benefit off of us, but then feel comfortable enough to talk shit about us.
Y'all have the things that y'all do. Just
We are the culture. That's
just
it.
like, okay, so then Caribbeans are a culture too.
No, y'all have a culture. We are the culture. That's two different things.
It's not.
Okay, all right.
As a Caribbean person.
But no, seriously, you took offense, and I apologize. I see.
Black Americans are the most copied people on the face of this earth, period. By everybody, by white people, Latinos, Asians, Africans, Caribbean, everybody. They love our culture, they adopt it, and then they try to downplay us as if what they adopted is their culture or they made it up, when that's just not the case. Black Americans don't look at anybody anywhere in the world and try to take something from them and act like we originated.
See, you took offense, and I apologize. I see your nose flaring up, and I really don't want you to be upset. Like, I genuinely apologize. I'm sorry.
I mean, we ain't about to fight or nothing. I'm just like, yo,
but
this is super
I
crazy.
see that you're upset. I really want you to
I
know,
felt like you was only comfortable because maybe you thought everybody in here was Caribbean and you thought they was they is black dirty and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
not at all. I talk about Haitians.
Who cares if she talks about Haitians? If a Black American was talking about Haitians, she would be offended.
What'd you say about Haitians?
Run from them.
But she
Like, don't fuck.
That's all I'm saying.
Like, I'm not.
Like Haitians as well.
Nah,
But
they ain't the same.
what is your reasoning for saying that though? Like,
I just have bad experiences. That's all.
okay, relationship wise,
Not just relationships, just
in general.
That's like a white supremacist excuse. One black person does something, so all black people do that or are bad. Like, get out of here with that generalization. Maybe she got bullied when she was younger by black people. I definitely admit that that happens. At least it happened when I was growing up. We've all heard the African booty scratcher and that type of stuff. So this is her get back after all these years to then turn that energy on Black Americans, and that's the chip she's carrying on her shoulder.
so. That's why I say that. But I apologize.
But you can't go around saying that.
I apologize. Sorry for having.
Now I'm trying to figure out, you and your Caribbean friends, y'all be talking like this, don't y'all?
Yes.
No.
I promise you, y'all probably be talking about it.
I promise.
Black
you,
Americans,
don't.
they dirty. Them niggas, y'all be
Nah,
crazy.
not
Like,
even. I am just a very expressive person. Like, I don't have a filter, so I apologize.
okay.
I didn't mean it.
There's no other way to
I didn't mean it right. I didn't mean to be.
They
I mean, it's disrespectful.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
Like, yo.
But I didn't mean it to be disrespectful. No,
There's no other way that that was supposed to come out other than as an insult.
but for real though,
His song.
Eli, I'm sorry.
Nah,
I don't want-
it's just,
I don't
it is just a
want
sense of
your-
because we've been having these diaspora awards for the longest.
Okay, I don't want your perception of who I am to change because of that. Because I don't only say it about America, like I say it about Caribbeans, I say it about Chinese, I say like I
doubt that,
just-
but like I
no,
get you.
I'm dead serious. It's just something that just flew off. I apologize. Like, sincerely apologize.
Like bro said, I highly doubt she walks around calling all people from every ethnicity dirty. She doesn't do that. That was a targeted insult specifically at black people. Again, unprovoked for no reason. This is how Caribbeans and NYC act towards black people, I guess. Everyone turns their noses up at Black Americans in NYC. She's whack. I really want to know that. Is that a New York thing? And the DMV is kind of like a melting pot. There's people from all over the place here that grew up here. And there's never been no dirty Black Americans ever, at least that I've heard. Again, maybe there are conversations that are happening, you know, from immigrant families behind closed doors. But that's never been a thing in school, in sports, anything like that. I've never heard that. They're raised to hate Black Americans too, just like their colonizers. And the same goes for other Caribbean and African groups of the diaspora. It'll always be Black Americans versus everybody. This same group, the Wrap Up Crew, kind of talked about that in that African versus Black Americans video, where the guy there, I forget his name, but he was from, I think, Benin, West Africa. And he basically said the only thing they knew about us came from media, came from TV, which of course doesn't paint the best depiction of Black people.
Had African people on the show say that their parents gave them the talk when they came over here, stay away from those Black Americans, they're just gonna get you pregnant, they drugged it. So where did that white supremacist talking point about Black Americans come from with Africans and even some Caribbeans?
Copied it from you. Your music says it. Cosby says it. You've written books about it. We hear it from you first.
And we all know that in this country, getting as far away from black people as possible and gravitating toward whiteness is beneficial. It gets you more money, more opportunities, all that type of stuff. And that's what a lot of them do. Man, the way this made my soul exhale, having been gaslit for 15 plus years about this, and them for so long, just feels like vindication. I'm so happy the world is starting to hear everyone's dinner table topics like I always did. Attacks like this, disrespect like this, is why so many black Americans have their guard up. One, defending black culture, defending black history, which is facing constant erasure by this entire country, by white people, by immigrants. And it's like we have to keep defining who we are, especially because this country is shared with so many people that look like us, but don't have our same ideals, that don't even like us.
Yeah, girl, that's how they are. The Americans are so lazy and entitled.
Excuse me?
Keisha, me call you back. Listen, the only reason I'm in your stupid country is to make money, then go back home to Jamaica.
Just like the whole Shabuzi situation, when he won an award and got on stage and said immigrants built this country. Black Americans are not immigrants. We didn't immigrate to this country. We didn't get green cards or passports to come here. We've been here for 400 years and built the bones and the foundation of this country.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Last time I checked, one of the first groups to actually start building New York City was Black Americans, free and enslaved. Some of the early communities built in New York was built by Black Americans. Or how about the simple fact that Black Americans was out there building New York City before they could actually freely own any land out there in New York City.
So by using the common terminology that immigrants built this country, that causes erasure of Black American contributions to this country, which we fought and bled for. But we're the only ones here that have to face constant hate, attacks, and erasure.
Black Americans have a very unique relationship with the identity of blackness. The United States of America is the only country in the world where the native black population, which are Black Americans, those descendants of those formerly enslaved people, in this country have to live amongst every single person in the African diaspora. Every single Black person from around the world is represented in America, lives in America, and can be American. And in a couple of generations, you become Nigerian American, Sudanese American, Ghanaian American. What does that mean for the native Black population that has been here since the 1600s, that has fought for their rights, fought for their representation, fought for their seat at the table? And without the fight of Black Americans, nobody else in the diaspora would be able to be here. Those original European settlers, those formerly enslaved Black Americans, and Native Americans are the only three groups that are foundational Americans. The waters get muddy when now Black people from the Caribbean, Black people from Africa are represented in spaces that Black Americans never have been. Congress, ownership, businesses, homes. And there's a lot of reasons why those of you from around the diaspora come to America, because a lot of people flee countries and they're looking for greater economic opportunities. And when you're not taught the history of America, you don't understand that. Guess what birthright citizenship came from? Us. Workplace discrimination, not being able to fire people based on sex, religion, gender, or color. Us. There's so many things Black people fought for that all Americans benefit from.
Like that video said, I think there's a very clear misunderstanding or miseducation that happens when it comes to Black Americans. The entire reason that immigrants come to this country is to benefit from it and get the rights that Black people struggled for and bled for, that now everybody has. Just me as a person, I would never move to a different country and not look up the history of that country, the struggles, achievements, and contributions of people that look like me. But I think because that doesn't happen, and there's a clear common preconception of who Black people are, that immigrants seem to have an inherited disrespect for us. Why does everybody hate Black Americans? All we do is wake up and live. Facts. Imagine being Haitian and calling us dirty, unprovoked, but yet we'll play victim when we get on y'all's head. This tweet is really how I feel these days. Like, I fight for Black representation, for Black Americans to get their recognition and respect, to not be erased from history or bunched up with immigrants. No disrespect to immigrants, but we are completely different people with a completely different history, with different contributions and achievements to this country and in this country that should be valued and respected, which is not, because it's currently being erased at every single turn.
591 Black books banned in 2025. Entire museum exhibits on Black migration and diaspora shut down.
But I also don't disrespect other groups. Me standing up for Black Americans doesn't mean I have to put anybody else down. And I love everybody Black unless there's disrespect toward Black Americans. I don't do diaspora wars. I don't do diaspora tours. I don't even know what that means, but that was a hard line. I love Black people from the Americas, Caribbean, Africa, Asia, and Oceania. FYI, you can be proud of who you are, your culture, and ethnicity without putting others down. That's facts, but I think a big issue comes when Black people from around the world immigrate to America and they compare their culture or who they are at home or their people to Black Americans. Americans and who we are. That's how you get the conversations like Black Americans don't have any culture.
African Americans in this country are the only groups, they have no culture. It depends on who you meet, where you meet them. 2 value systems in the African American culture. Name 2 taboos in the African American culture system. Name 2 traditions, by the way, in the African American culture system. You have no culture.
We do have culture. The whole entire world absorbs and steals our culture. But when that conversation happens, it immediately turns disrespectful. Just because Black American culture doesn't fit somebody else's idea of culture because they're from a different place on this earth. Truth is, we all have one enemy, and that is global anti-Blackness. I definitely agree, and that's what it should be. All Black people united on the same page, advancing as one people, but that just doesn't happen. And I think a lot of that also has to do, going back to that other video, with the tribalism that happens in Africa, because there are warring countries, and within countries, there are warring tribes, and people that just never get along and never will get along. So the only people they view as their people are the people from their tribe or their country.
We think that skin color makes you and me the same. We're not. I am from a small tribe called the Ajat tribe in Benin. Benin is only 6.5 million people with over 40 tribes. When I say tribe, I mean the language is like French and Chinese. I don't have anything in common with the 49 other people in my country. Nothing in common. They speak a different language. They have a different God, a different religion, different food, different forms of wear and culture, traditions, and customs.
And everybody else is basically an op, like dude saying, I'm not your brother.
We are the only ones who walk the earth, and as soon as you see a Black person at the airport, oh, brother. No, I'm not your brother. What's wrong with that? Oh, Jesus Christ.
And that's just not the way Black people move. That's not the way we were raised to move. When most of us see other Black people, there's an instant recognition, whether we talk or not, whether we speak or not. Like, you will get the head nod, which is a sign of acknowledgement, like, I see you. But the disrespect doesn't just stop at the dirty Black American clip. This is another video of a woman just disparaging Black Americans, just to big up her country, herself, and her achievements. It's really weird that you have to shit on other people to validate where you are in life.
And Black American people, can y'all please stop talking about what the white man is doing to hold y'all down? I got friends who couldn't afford tissue growing up, so they used to go in the bush and use a leaf to wipe their doo-doo, their shit. Where are they from? Country, Jamaica. All of them just bought their girl Benzes this year. Wait, I don't know if all of them was wiping their doo-doo with leaf, but all of them came from nothing and all of them got their girls Benzes this year.
I've never heard a Black person buy a house or a car or get a promotion and be like, yeah, I'm doing better than Jamaicans. I'm doing better than Africans. That's just not a thing that happens in the Black American community. So it's weird that we get that smoke in comparison from other groups of people that look like us. What do we have to do with what her or her friends are achieving?
And it's not about the Benz or the bags. The point is, life in other countries is harder than it is in America. Immigrants come here and have it harder than you as an American, and they still make it happen. They buy more land than you, and they don't even go here. They're not from here. And you still talk about what got taken from you during slavery? I know Grabaleaf owns a jet. A man that is not from your country owns a jet in your country, and you talking about what the white man did to you still if you don't.
There are so many benefits that immigrants get when they come to this country, which is the point of them coming to this country. Grants, loans, housing opportunities, business loans that Black Americans have never gotten and will never get.
Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in Black communities, even though Black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities.
Black people have been successful throughout the history of America. We've built our own towns, we built our own businesses, we had our own banks, we've built wealth, we've had lands, we had houses, which one after the other was destroyed by the federal government or racist white people.
Black Americans have consistently and continuously built their own institutions, built their own banks, built their own towns, built their own schools, built everything, and America has consistently burned it down. White people got jealous, white people didn't like it, so they burned down. That's how we have Tulsa, that's how we have Rosewood, that's how we have the slew of massacres that have occurred in America, where financial centers and the wealth of Black America has continuously been burned down and stripped.
So to not know everything that we've been through in this country, but then compare struggle to struggle, it's just super delusional and corny. Not to mention, there are a lot of Black Americans in this country doing amazing, that do have homes, that have built wealth, that do have real estate portfolios, that do make high six figures, that are millionaires. So for whatever reason, when we hear these comparisons, it's a generalization like all Black people are out here struggling or destitute, when that's just not the case.
And girls, I hate when you say, I had to become a stripper, I had to sell pum pum because life was hard. I'm a Jamaican woman. I chose to stand up in the hot sun and sell water to get capital to start my business.
How many black women are strippers or selling cat? That's such a weird generalization. Jamaican Real Star Girl on IG says immigrants come to America with nothing, and if 1 out of the millions of immigrants that come to the US can make it, black Americans shouldn't complain. The nothing they come from equals food stamps, housing, Medicaid, tuition, jobs, etc.
You know what I notice about like the immigrant people that like talk about Americans and like, you guys Americans are so lazy. The ones that have some type of perceived success, they always tend to talk about the group of black Americans that are not in the same class as them to make themselves feel better. Why is your main focus on the small group of black Americans that haven't achieved that success yet, as opposed to your focus being on people that are in your same class, whether that's income, education, et cetera, et cetera. They do that because without having someone to shit on as an immigrant, this is only some of them, not all of them, what do they have to talk about? Because if they talk about the people if they talk about the black Americans that have the exact same thing that they have, they would feel less than, because the black Americans that have the exact same thing that they have wouldn't give them any type of day.
I know Grabberleaf owns a jet, a man that is not from...
Are we like the gold standard for what everybody compares themselves to? Like, is your whole hustle and grind centered around being able to one-up Black Americans? And why are the only Black Americans that you know that are in your circle that you talk to bottom of the barrel complaining about slavery, white supremacy, not doing anything, not buying businesses, not owning businesses? Why is those the only type of Black people that you know? I look at, like, if your circle of friends or your circle of whoever you associate with is on the bottom, that tells me about who you are, because birds of a feather flock together.
And again, I don't even believe it's necessary to put anybody else down in response to dumbass comments and videos like this. But talk about the crime immigrants bring here. Jamaicans were the biggest pushers of crack. Not all of us are in the ghetto. We're fighting against years of systematic oppression and still doing better than them. Plenty of black Americans own Benzes. And when I say education needs to happen or people need to do research, videos like this is exactly what I'm talking about.
If somebody educate me on why there's black Americans that don't know where they're from, like their ethnicity and stuff, like growing up Nigerian, having a grandfather in the house that's like straight from Nigeria, clothing, the food, the language, the accent, everything. I've always known.
That's a dumbass question that he answered himself. If his grandfather is Nigerian, that means he has a connection to Nigeria. Even though black Americans came from Africa on slave ships, we do not have a connection to Africa. We're talking about being in the land for hundreds of years. People's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents were from this land. So that means that we are black Americans. It's really that simple. We're not immigrants. We have no connection to any other land, even though our ancestors hundreds of years ago were brought here.
Your grandfather's from Nigeria? That is so cool. My paternal grandfather is from Harlem. My maternal grandfather is from Vail, North Carolina. He spent most of his life in Hickory. My maternal grandmother is from Columbia, South Carolina, which is where I was born. My paternal grandmother is from Charleston, South Carolina. Do you know what all four of those places have in common? America. Nobody asked Jamaicans or Haitians to provide a family tree, but whenever the subject comes up for black Americans, people get so up in arms, like, where are you from? We're from here. August 1619, two ships, the White Lion and the Treasure. The Treasure was the consort ship to the White Lion. They docked in Port Comfort, which is now Hampton, Virginia, with 20 to 60 slaves that they stole from a Portuguese ship in the Gulf of Mexico. August 1619, 407 years, 15 months before the Mayflower, 295 years before your grandfather's country of Nigeria was established. We've been here. What is our ethnicity? Black American, African American. It is a recognized ethnic group in the United States of America. We are the descendants of African slaves brought to the Americas. We are the descendants of the African slaves who survived the transatlantic slave trade. That's who we are. Oh, but I know the next question. Where are you from? What I want you to do is find a globe, spin it, and then put your finger down. Probably there. One of the things that makes us uniquely African American, that separates us from the rest of the African diaspora, is our mixed genetic ancestry. We come from multiple African tribes, multiple European countries, multiple Native American tribes. Some of us even have ancestry rooted in Asia. No, we can't pinpoint to a single country because chances are when our ancestors were taken, that country didn't exist. We are Americans. Our heritage is American. Our language is American. Our culture is American. Our ethnicity is uniquely American.
I feel like at a certain point, it's just willful ignorance for other people of color to not understand that about Black Americans. It's really not a hard concept to get at all unless you're purposely trying not to understand it. Black Americans stating the truth does not mean that we are hateful of other groups of people. The truth of the matter is that there should be no reason any other group of people are focusing on Black Americans when their homelands are quite literally deteriorating. That makes perfect sense. I don't understand why Black people are the center of any subject in a negative way from other people of color that had to immigrate to this country from their country for a better life. If anything, I would think there would be camaraderie or gratefulness that they were able to come here off the struggle of Black Americans. But again, people aren't educated in the history of America and the contributions of Black Americans, which is the problem.
Many African immigrants in the United States are highly educated. Nigerians, Ghanaians, Kenyans. Consensus data shows some of the highest degree attainment rates in the country. But what doesn't quite get said out loud, immigration, at least to the U.S., is very selective. You don't randomly show up in America on a student visa or a skilled worker visa. You qualify. You're vetted. You often already have an education, English proficiency, financial backing, or professional credentials before you land. So we're not comparing average populations here. We're comparing a pre-selected group of high achievers to a population whose history in this country began with enslavement. That's not really a fair baseline. African Americans aren't just Americans who didn't try. We are descendants of people who were legally blocked from building generational wealth for centuries. Slavery, black codes, Jim Crow, redlining, exclusion from home loans, underfunded schools, mass incarceration. And if you think about it, that's not even ancient history. Redlining maps existed into the late 60s. Some of your grandparents, definitely my grandparents, were directly affected by that. You can't compare outcomes without comparing starting lines.
And one thing I generally love about Black people is we are born and raised in resistance. Black Americans had to fight for every single step of progress that we got in this country. And when we do get progress, look what America does to it. Look what it did to DEI or affirmative action. They found a way to tear it down, to try to hurt Black people. But we still continue to fight, progress, and elevate. And it's good when other Black people across the diaspora see that and acknowledge it because we stand up for us.
What is so funny to me is that the BBC and BAFTA have not felt heat from Black people like this before because now they're messing with Black Americans. The funny thing is to me that the BBC have always played in Black people's faces, but they were British Black people, and we don't really have the numbers in the UK. There's only, we're like 2%, 3% of the country. There's not a lot of us, and we're not really that joint in standing on business. We're not very, as British people, we're more keep calm and carry on. We'll complain, but we won't stand on business. Whereas Black Americans stand on business.
Much like the video I did on Hans Kim, the Asian comedian telling racist Black jokes, it really took his own community to call him out for him to get checked. Of course, Black people had a voice and spoke out, but his own community was loud about how they weren't rocking with his racism. And I think it's gonna take that type of self-policing and self-check across the diaspora. Like Jamaicans need to be checking Jamaicans when they hear them saying racist, anti-Black stuff against Black Americans, especially unprovoked. The same with every other country or ethnicity. I really think where we are in this country, especially under Donald Trump, we have much bigger fights to fight than each other. But Black Americans will not tolerate disrespect. We never have, never will, not going for it from anybody. Again, that's one thing I love about us. But at the end of the day, I don't want anybody disrespected. There just needs to be a general understanding and respect of each other's histories and cultures. We should all be on the same page, a voting block, so we can build power in this world like other communities do. But shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting. And thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.